Good evening. It is 6:30, and I'd like to call this meeting of council to order and acknowledge that the City of Winkler is located on Treaty 1 land, the home of the Anishinaabe, the Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that have been made on these territories. We acknowledge that there have been harms and mistakes in the past, but we dedicate ourselves to a future based on respect of all peoples, including Indigenous communities, in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration, moving forward to a harmonious, prosperous future together. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council meeting of July 25th, 2023 be adopted. Mover?
Peter.
Marvin. Second. Marvin Plutt is joining us digitally, and he's seconded that. Any changes or additions to the agenda? All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting of July 11th, 2023 be adopted. Mover?
Don.
Second.
Michael.
Comments on those minutes? All in favor? Carried. Moving into correspondence, you will see a letter from the Manitoba Library Association in response to our resolution at the last meeting and our appointment to the library board. They raise a number of points. You will also note behind there that I've sent a response to them asking a face-to-face meeting to discuss those concerns, and we will await their response to that and move forward from there. Moving forward then into finance, be it resolved that accounts payable in the amount of $4,086,397.93 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Don Friesen.
Second.
I can help out.
Thank you. Any questions, comments on it? As always, the ledger is attached. You can take a look at it. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the Winkler Police Board minutes for the July 12th, 2023 meeting be adopted. Mover?
Peter.
Second.
Michael.
Aye.
You just missed that one, Marvin, sorry.
No worries.
You'll see the notes there, and particularly the information from the chief that there's a fair amount of stuff going on. I think it's good to see that there is stuff going on. It means that our crew is out there taking care of business. I read an interesting article the other day that stated that Winkler's crime rate, violent crime rate, was less than half the provincial average. So it's our team is out there. They're doing very good work. It's nice to see. Any further comments? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the Transportation and Utility Committee minutes for the July 12th, 2023 meeting be adopted. Mover?
Marvin.
Second.
I think Marvin was going to help. Right, Marv?
Yeah, I motioned.
Marvin got the motion. Don Fair got the second. Anything, Marvin, in particular that you'd like to highlight out of that minute?
Absolutely, thank you. First of all, a big thank you to our staff who worked really, really hard to do research and then help us come up with the best solution. So a couple of things we talked about. We talked about our mowing contract. We talked about ways that we can address, especially the spring challenge that we have with fast-growing grass, and a lot of employees, potential employees, still be in school or university and so on. So talked about ways how we can address that. We talked about electric personal transportation modes. We're working at that with the police department together. We're concerned that with bikes and the electric bikes and so on, electric scooters, that people use them safely, that nobody gets hurt. So we want to make sure we develop good policy for that, and maybe an education component in that. We were also asked to make a motion on slow speed vehicle legislation to work with that with the province. So that's something that that the committee will recommend. And then we also talked about the North Railway design. The staff worked very hard to find out research ways of how we can find reliable, cost-effective ways to do that section. And we also talked about the change or transfer of ownership for a short piece of pipeline along 32 coming into the city from the Pembina Valley Water Co-op to the city, because of the fact that it really benefits the city, and it's really the city's responsibility, and we have options with it in that way. Let's see, we discussed ways of repairing Cambridge Crescent. That's an important one to make sure that it's done well. And finally, we're very happy with the service that we have, and as we are looking at going forward to do another contract with Gateway, we also discussed whether we need the work of Pembina Valley Recycling Network for the future. So we're recommending that we have a discussion on whether that is needed. I think it had a very important part when we started recycling a couple of decades ago, but we needed to see whether we still need to continue that. So those are some of the points that we discussed.
Excellent. Thank you, Marvin. Additional comments? All in favor? Carried. Moving then into planning, be it resolved that the Planning Committee minutes for the July 13th, 2023 meeting be adopted. Mover?
Don Friesen.
Second.
Peter?
Don, anything that you'd like to highlight out of those planning minutes?
Not too much. Self-explanatory, lots of it. Some growth priorities we talked about with staff, and they've been working on kind of what we'd like to see and bring it up at annual meeting each time to make sure we're in the right growth mode where we need it. And yeah, some airport stuff. Trying to figure some of that stuff up, and some RM of Stanley subdivisions that are happening around us, which we talked about some potential traffic issues and stuff like that with the big trucks turning onto the highway there just before Winkler and stuff like that, which is going to be a concern from the south and from the east. So some of those things.
Definitely important to look into when we consider the accident this morning, again, at Schonzenfeld Corner. Mm-hmm. It's very dangerous when we have turning happening at full speed on these roads. So
and there'll be lots of turning going on there. So yeah, anyways, yeah.
Excellent. The other thing that was really good to see is commitment to review our growth priorities on an annual basis to make sure that as we make those investments, we're making them in the right places.
Yeah.
So.
That's good.
Further thoughts? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the MSTW Planning District minutes for the May 10th, 2023 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Don Fair.
Second.
Don Friesen.
Do the Dons have anything to highlight out of that report in minutes?
Well, there's a large amount of projects that are happening now. Not so much single family, but with multifamily and with commercial. The hospital is, I believe they're done their footing now, so they're going to stage 2 of the building mode, and so, you know, a lot of permits, a lot of inspections there, and given the good news we got yesterday with Winkler Meats, then we're looking forward for more construction to happen as well.
Absolutely. That was tremendously exciting yesterday to be able to announce that and to look forward to where that's going to take us. Any other comments on the MSTW reports and minutes? All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the Discovery Nature Sanctuary minutes for June 27th, 2023 be received for information. Mover?
Peter?
Second.
Michael.
Comments on those? Doesn't sound like comments, but it sounds like a phone ringing maybe. Another organization that does lots and lots of work. They never seem to take a day off either in terms of improvements there. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding public hearings. Mover?
Don Friesen.
Second?
Peter?
All in favor? Carried. Jody, before we have this first hearing, I'd like to declare a potential interest in that my business might be involved in delivering these results if in fact they're approved. I will turn the chair over to Michael Grenier and excuse myself from this meeting.
Morse code.
Might be.
Okay, and Jody, I'll just ask that if any of the procedure is incorrect, just correct me on
Okay.
that.
Yep.
But yeah, so public hearing for conditional use CU 2023-008. And I'll let you start that off, Jody.
So for this conditional use application, it is on behalf of, or the applicant is Iceberg Drive-In on behalf of the owner JV Properties. The request here is in order to have a permanent off-site advertising signs, and these type of signs are a conditional use in the CG zone. So this is for the location at 110 15th Street, and our office has no objections to the application.
And I will ask if there's anyone here to speak in opposition to this application. And seeing nobody, then if there's somebody that wants to speak in regard, or in favor of the application, or, yeah, if not, then we'll just go to questions. Okay. Questions, comments from council?
These are no physical signs, these are just signs that go onto the concrete wall that you have there?
Directly onto the wall, yeah.
On the inside, on the drive-through side of it?
Yeah, they're all gonna be on the west wall and then in the drive-through lane.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Most of the signs won't even be visible, street traffic.
So just for the record, the answer is that the signs will be on the fence on the west wall there.
Yeah.
Okay, just because we're recording on YouTube, so
That's it.
to get the answers through.
Okay, and if there's no other questions or...
Okay, I have a further question, if I may.
Yep.
Would this be only, let's say, regular signs, or could they include electronic signs as well? Maybe it's a question of Jody as well.
Currently, there's no electronic signs. They're all just regular signs. And the intent is to keep it that way.
So just a question, if we approve this, it would allow though for either or is that a separate approval? for it?
Digital signs might have some other conditions around them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, sure. It's good to
Okay.
know.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Okay, then, and I will ask for, we'll take all in favor, right, and then close the hearing, correct, Jody?
Just the resolution to
Or,
close the
sorry,
hearing first.
resolution, okay.
Yeah.
Then be it resolved that the public hearing for conditional use number CU 2023-008 be closed. I'll ask for a mover for that.
Don Fair?
Thank you, Don. Seconder?
Marvin?
Okay, take Marv.
Marvin.
You can't see him, but he's here in spirit for sure.
All right, all in favor? And any opposed? Good.
We can ask Henry to.
We have
We
to,
have to
we have to
approve
go
it
approve it
first.
first.
Okay,
And be it resolved that council approve conditional use number CU 2023-008. And I'll ask for a mover on that.
Don Fair?
Don Fair, thank you. And seconder?
Peter?
Peter, thank you. And all in favor? And any opposed? And we're good.
Now you can call him in.
Thank you. we'll call Henry back.
Get the boss back in the room.
Yeah.
See you, Jeff.
Okay.
13.3.
Take the chair back. Thank you very much, Michael, for helping out.
Very welcome.
Moving then to 13.3. Jody, if you would take us through that hearing.
This is conditional use application CU 2023-009. Applicant is Ryan Fraze on behalf of 726-3440 Manitoba Limited. The request is in order to allow an indoor participant recreation service, a gym, and that type of service is a conditional use in the SI industrial zone, or service industrial zone. Again, here we have not received any objections to the application.
Thank you, Jody. Is there anyone here to speak to this application?
But I'm the one applying.
Correct. If you would like to speak, I'd invite you to the microphone. If you're here simply to answer questions, you're certainly free to do so as well.
I'll wait to answer any questions if there are.
Excellent. Council? Be it resolved, the public hearing for conditional use number CU 2023-009 be closed. Mover?
Peter?
Second.
Michael? Oh,
Don beat you out, Michael, by just a touch. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that council approve conditional use number CU 2023-009. Mover?
Don Fair?
Second.
Michael?
Additional questions or thoughts?
It's exciting to have another gym option in the community.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
It is that, and the
And
location
the
for it.
location is perfect.
The location fits very well, so. Okay, if we're ready, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Taking us then, public hearing for variation number VA 2023-014, Jody.
Applicant is Ed Pinner Construction on behalf of owner 4936095 Manitoba Limited. This is in order to accommodate semi-truck access to loading areas. And the variance is needed because they want to increase the maximum driveway width from 49 feet to 80 feet in the industrial zone. No objections to this application.
And not seeing anybody in chambers to speak to it. Be it resolved, the public hearing for variation number VA 2023-014 be closed. Mover.
Peter?
Second.
Michael?
Any questions or thoughts from council? I'll ask the question. All in favor? And that is carried. Jody. Be it resolved that public hearings be adjourned and regular council reconvene. Mover.
Don?
Second.
Peter?
All in favor? Carried. That takes us to the end of our regular agenda. We do have an in-camera session, but I'll move to questions from the media or public relevant to this meeting of council first. Have you got anybody online, Wendy? Nothing there. Nobody in chambers.
If you refresh, Henry, you'll see the resolution to recess into in-camera.
Excellent. That's helpful. That way I don't end up stumbling through it. Be it resolved that the in-camera, I'm still a step ahead of myself here. We'll step back to 14.1.
14.1.
Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding an in-camera discussion. Mover?
Don Friesen.
Second.
Peter?
All in favor? Carried, and we're recessed.